Elle and I both have the most many gender-specific topics on the list today, and this is no pre-pro. We did not plan this.
Hey.
L literally typed out with his fingers, Cardi B. Cardi B is the best song-making female rapper, no hyperbole. To that,
Did.
I watched the Godcast with Godfrey, Lord Jamar, and Rod Digger this week because they had Just Blaze on.
Mm-hmm.
Just Blaze proceeded to walk through he and Rod Digger's difference of opinions on what makes GOAT level status rappers getting help writing. Specifically, they were discussing getting help. And Rod Digger out of her mouth said, yeah, no, I ain't taking no bars. That's crazy. And if you take bars, you can't be the best. And she's and then simultaneously, Kev, because Kev and I are watching it, Kev goes, well, that's her female bias kicking in because she feels like she has to stand on her own as a woman because she'll be people are automatically assuming that she's getting help because she's in Busta's camp. Busta has to be helping her. So to prove them wrong, she's gonna make sure Busta don't help her. And she goes, yeah, Busta don't get no help from nobody. And me and Kev looked at each other like, oh, she's sadly mistaken. And Busta didn't explain that to her. Busta has albums with Pharrell, Q-Tip, Dr. Dre, Jay Dilla. That nigga's gotten help before. I don't care what you say. And Cardi is able to have the impact that she's able to have. And there's no argument whose pen is better out of Rod Digger and Cardi B. Nobody will ever argue that. But Roz kind of moved out of that conversation. Not kind of, she's not even in that conversation because Cardi's had the success that she's had because she's let other people pin for her. So, explain.
So after all that, explain.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. No, not explain. I thought it was fascinating and then to see L's topic this morning because it was solely based off of that dialogue.
Now, it's just, I didn't see the Rod Digger thing, but
Yeah, I got to share that with you guys.
yeah, like the conclusion that I came with Cardi though is that if you really look at her track record, and this is, I don't want to do the whole thing where we talk about like the label she's in and the amount of help that she receives, because you can receive a lot of help, you could be at a certain label, you can have all the money behind you, and it should not transition well. Like we've seen that it doesn't connect, and the person that Cardi is, I just don't think that she's able to make something that's corny. You know what I mean? I think that's the gist of it. Is that's an important element of the individual, that you aren't here to just do shit for the sake of it's gonna hit for a certain mass group. Like the shit that Cardi does, I don't think is ever gonna actually be corny from my thought process. So I'm saying, with that being said, that she's up there on the rankings when it comes to just picking the correct song and knowing what's going to fly. Like, yes, people can help out with that part of it, but she would still have to want to put her name on it. you know so, and then the whole thing about like her still in the line or whatever, bro, people say that, like, that shit has been said plenty of times.
What are your feelings in and around? Because it's the conversation is layered. It's not just one thing being discussed. There's a bunch of different things that are taking place. So
Yes, yeah, yeah.
want to be delicate to that, and what especially in reference to Rock, because she to me one of the greatest pins. That's not even gender, like just one of the best pins ever.
Mhm.
But
I'm not talking about
more
Rod though, because
exactly.
I'm not putting Rod in the conversation of making like amazing songs for masses. Like,
Not even close. Facts.
yeah, like people need to know like the layers to like the game that you want to play. And
Yeah.
if that's not a game that you're willing to play, then why the hell would somebody want to put that into the conversation or compare the two? You know what I mean? Like those are two pieces that don't need to be compared.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be in comparison, then you would have to be playing the exact same game.
Yeah.
So there's people that get pissed off at Drake all the time about him getting help or not being the best rapper and stuff. Not all the things that you want to possibly say about Drake.
Yeah.
But are you willing to play the game that Drake is playing?
Answer is no.
No, thank you.
What do
And
you
it's like,
special?
and I don't know how many people that can play Drake's game though. You know what I mean?
There you
Like
go.
there's a lot of players to Drake that it might be impossible for somebody else to even be on the same playing field as Drake. I get it, but I mean that's some shit that folks got to deal with. If that's your lane, you got to deal with it. Not everything is built to be sweet.
Do you feel like Cardi's, like you said, she'll never make anything that's corny to you? For you, do you think it comes from her like being on Instagram and her like showing so much of her life and like spending so much time with us and like still making sure that she's relatable in that aspect? Do you think that plays a part, or is it just solely the music?
For me, it's music wise because I'm not online, so like I don't pay attention too much to like individuals, like their day to day lives. So I don't really know too much about that, so I can't speak on that part.
Mm-hmm.
But that definitely has a lot to do with it if she is that in tune with, you know, her demographic or just the people that are listening to her. That translates over because if you're always in contact with them and you're being real or authentic in that aspect, then yes, that's gonna hit. That's a lot like Big Lotto. Like she's blowing up, I think, because of her relatability by how much she's letting into like her just being interactive with fan bases. I think that's a part of being an artist at this point. Like people want to know you day to day. It's not for everybody, but if you want to play that game, then that's the shit that you got to do. You know, like I'm more of a like the way Kendrick approaches shit. Like I give you something amazing, and then you probably ain't gonna hear from me for a bit. But that's more so headspace.
Stay there for both of you guys because I know how big Kendrick fans both of y'all are, me included. There's absolutely no question that there's a Baby Keem influence on Damn though, and for whatever reason, when people hear me say that, they take that as an indictment of Kendrick, and no, that is part of that man's brilliance. And when I say influence, that don't mean that Keem wrote a single fucking word. And if he did, it still wouldn't matter to me. It wouldn't matter for 1 second because of the excellence that Kendrick has displayed and the same Baby Keem influence that is on Damn, the same George Clinton influence is on To Pimp a Butterfly. Mm-hmm. For the same Dr. Dre influence that is on Good Kid, Mad City. There are these moments, and again, back to the initial point of teamwork. Rod Digger is is in a camp with Busta Rhymes. Who's had bigger hits than Busta Rhymes? And you don't take it. You're going out of your way not to take direction as the means to uphold this thing that isn't even real. Like there is no like the hey, you can't take, that's not an actual rule anywhere. And to the point that Just Blaze was making was that y'all goats that's on y'all rap Mount Rushmores have all taken help. Whether it's known or not is the debate, but they've all taken assistance in some form of fashion, and we move the goalposts depending on if we like the person.